Ruckus SWAT is a SpeedFlex-based wireless assessment toolkit geared to help you troubleshoot and also validate an installation. You can do this pre or post installation, and it's easily connected to a ZAP or SpeedFlex server. SpeedFlex is an open source tool that's used to help characterize the performance of a wireless network. It's hosted under ZAP Wireless on Google Code and easy for you to find. Once you actually launch SWAT for the first time, you're presented with the main projects window. From here you can create multiple projects by simply clicking on the top right plus button, giving it a name. You can give it a description as well, which is optional, and it will create a tile for each new project that you create. So I'm just going to give a few here, and you'll see they tile themselves out. If I create a third one, I can easily move them around by clicking and holding on them and dragging them around to different locations. And if I wanted to delete one, simply click on the edit option just to the left of the plus, click on the minus by the one you want to delete, and you can get rid of them quickly. Once you actually launch a project, you can create surveys. So each project can have a number of surveys. If you were doing a hotel or a school, you might have each floor or each building separated as a different survey under a main project. Same thing applies here. Give it a name and a description. So we're going to call this one corporate, and we'll say main office. Go ahead and save it. You'll see it's set up with a tile option as well for a thumbnail to be presented. So once you actually import a floor plan, you can see you'll have the option to see it listed on the display. Click on that survey to take you in, and you're presented with the option of adding a floor plan. So from here you can take a picture with an iPad 2 if you want to take a quick photo of an escape plan or a physical piece of paper that you've got on your desk. You can connect to Dropbox, or you can browse to your photo gallery. So I'm going to go ahead and browse to Dropbox, say import image from Dropbox, and I've already authenticated this to Dropbox. So the first time you do it, you'll be presented with an authentication window asking if you want to allow the SWAT app to get to your Dropbox installation. The most important piece is you have to have Dropbox installed on your iPad in order for this to work. So once you actually select a floor plan, it will be brought into the main window for you to start adding survey points and access. First thing you want to do is go ahead and set the scale. So I click set scale, and this is really just picking two separate points on the map that you know is a fixed size and setting them. The distance is based upon the metrics that you set in settings, and I'll show you that in a minute. But I'm going to go ahead and pick a doorway, say that's 3 feet, and that helps to make your heat map to be more presentable based upon the actual size and the scale of your image that you've imported. So up at the top right, you've got the gear icon. If you click the gear icon, your ZAP server is your host. That's going to be your actual connecting point when you're running this throughput test. This could be a standalone Ruckus access point, a Ruckus zone director, which is what I'm using in my case, or this could be a laptop running ZAP Wireless from Google Code on a laptop connected to a network. So you've got several different options. So put in the IP address. You set the duration of the test with this slider. So I'm going to set it something small for the demo. It's 3 seconds up to 50 seconds that you get to choose from. Throughput value is an actual toggle switch that you can turn on and off to show the results of the throughput test. You may not want to see them. You may just want the heat map to show. The estimated area, this is a confidence value based upon your testing. So if you know you go into a conference room, a classroom, an open area, you want to say, based upon where I'm testing, I pretty much know anywhere around me in this area. This is set to 30, and it's based upon feet as the distance unit is set below. But if you click on the little eye, you'll see it'll give you a confidence value based upon your testing. It helps to build the proper coverage map. So if you test in one spot, you pretty much know within 30 feet you're going to get very similar results. And you can tailor that just by changing it here. So if I want to change that to something smaller, just click on the 30, make it 20, and that's fairly accurate. You can set your distance, protocol, and link direction, and this will stay for the duration of the test until you change it. So you could start testing part of your network with TCP downlink, and then you could test another part with TCP uplink just by coming in here and clicking on save. So I'm going to go ahead and do a TCP up test. Click save. Back to my map. I suggest clicking the save button. This way, if you were to back out, you were to lose the application, your battery were to go dead, you at least come back in where you left off. Now you can add an access point. We've got our most commonly used ones here. I'm going to set a 7982 and go ahead and pick a location where it may be. So I'm going to drop it. You give it a name. We'll give this one main AP. Click OK. This is just for visual representation only. It has no bearing on the performance of the test. It has no outcome on the results of the test. This is strictly just for visual representation, so if you send the results to someone, they see where the access point is or was. There's no reason that this is required to be put on the map. So I'm going to go ahead and click Done, and now I've got the concept of adding survey points. This is the physical locations on the map where you're actually performing the test. So you can do one of two things. You can click and point survey points on the map now, and then physically go there and then click the little blue dots when you're physically there, or just drop these as you're in this location. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate that I may be up in this area of the building, and I'm going to say this is, the locker room. Click OK. Now if I want to test immediately, just click Done. I can go back and click on the locker blue dot. It's going to run a performance test, and it's going to come back with results. So it just got 35.89 megabits per second for locker room. I click OK, and I've got a green dot. It's a blue dot when it's initially placed, yellow during a test, green when it's complete, or red if it failed, if there was a connection loss issue or something else prevented the throughput test from responding. Now if I want to add another one, if I now walk over to this meeting room, I could drop this in and say, hey, this is conference room 1. Click OK, say Done, click the blue dot, and the same thing. It's going to run a TCP uplink test, give me back my results, and you can see I got 37.77 megabits per second. Now, if you look at the icons next to these results, you'll see there's an up arrow with a T indicating uplink TCP. If I were to place a different survey point in a different location, it's going to give this one a name called test. Click Done. But now I may want to change this to be UDP downlink. Click Save. Now when I run this test in this location, you'll see the results are going to be different. Throughput should be higher. It's UDP downlink, and I've got my results here. So again, you can pre-place your survey points, or you can place them as you go and run your test. This is meant to be the physical spot that you're in when you run the actual test. So it's testing over-the-air wireless performance to your iPad during the test. Now from here, if I'm all done, I can email the survey, which will generate a text document to whoever I want based upon the results with the label, the throughput, the packet loss, and then the direction of the test, so very easily identifiable. Or I could generate a heat map. If it goes into a heat map, it takes in your scale, your confidence value, and then it uses the legend that's configurable here on the left to generate circles of coverage. It does some interpolation between the data points, so it's tries to do some overlap to give you an idea of what your coverage is. But again, it doesn't know what the actual walls are in this, so it kind of bases it upon you doing tests at many locations, as well as the confidence value being set properly. So you can see pretty quickly, I'm getting more than 30 megs to most of these locations. I could easily change the scaling on the map or the color codes, the legends, if I wanted it to be 0 to 20 and 21 to 40 and just have 2 colors. You can do that, but we give you flexibility on 4 different. You can hide the graphics if you don't want people to see the circles. You just want the values to be there just by clicking the button. Now, if I click Done, it's going to take me back into the survey that I've already completed. Or if I want to email this, I can do an email or a direct upload to Dropbox. If I click Upload to Dropbox, it's going to go to your root of Dropbox, create a heat map folder, and then date it, and it's going to be a PDF. Or I can also email it, which will generate an email on the iPad and attach a heat map PDF file. So you can see quite flexible, quite easy to use. The flexibility of the iPad gives you a dual band, 11-in support, and allows you to quickly and easily test your throughput of a Ruckus wireless network or any other wireless network that's based upon a ZAP open source test tool.